I've wanted a sauna for a long time. After learning about the health benefits, things like improved cardiovascular health, detox through sweat, and the often quoted 40% decrease in all cause mortality, it started to feel like less of a luxury to me and more like a no brainer. I had already been cold plunging daily, and adding heat felt like the obvious next step. 15 to 20 minutes a day, a few times a week, the benefits are pretty hard to argue with. So I spent about 5 months researching saunas, and I quickly came to a realization. Americans don't really build saunas that well. The Finns are basically the holy authority on all things sauna. It's actually pronounced sauna or sauna, but I'm going to say it my way because I'm American and that's how we say it. Some people take issue with that, but we don't call Japan Nippon or Mexico Mexico. And likewise, we don't expect Spanish speaking people to call the United States the United States. They say Estados Unidos, so I'm saying it my way. Probably the most authoritative resource I found online was Trumpkin's Notes on Sauna Building, which I'll link below. Trumpkin's Notes are basically the online Bible of sauna construction. It's incredibly detailed, widely respected, and endorsed by a lot of Finns who actually know what they're talking about. On top of that, I watched just about every DIY sauna video on YouTube. And surprisingly, there's not that many, which is why I'm making this one. And on YouTube, there was everything from good builds, builds that were actually pretty good, one guy whose plans I actually bought, and I'm not knocking it at all, but where the bench placement was on the low side of the sauna, which for some people is a non starter, to other builds where somebody basically made a sealed cedar box with no ventilation and cooked themselves, and one guy who, in my opinion, came the closest to building something that felt like a real sauna. And that's where I pulled most of my inspiration. In reality, I stole ideas from just about every build I watched. My goal wasn't to obsess over exact measurements or dogma, but stay true to what I understand the spirit of a real Finnish sauna to be, respecting the principles, respecting the culture, and trying not to turn it into just a hot wooden closet.
This build had a few constraints right from the start. The biggest one is height. My house has 2 decks, and this is the lower one, so I've only got just under 8 feet between this deck and the joists above. That immediately limits how tall the sauna can be. The other constraint is width. You can see those 2 vertical 6x6 beams. The sauna has to fit between them. Not just fit, but leave enough room for me to actually build it. Framing, sheathing, siding, painting, all from the outside. So here I'm just prepping the area, clearing dust and debris to get a clean working surface. There used to be a jacuzzi here, which is why the decking is discolored, but that actually works in my favor. A water-filled jacuzzi weighs way more than this sauna ever will. So structurally, I'm not worried at all. This thing is easily strong enough, even with a dense frame and multiple people inside. Before building, I added a coat of boiled linseed oil for protection, since I expect both weight and water exposure from runoff outside and moisture inside the sauna. Before any of this, I had already ordered all the materials. I spent months planning and researching, so I felt pretty confident I'd gotten it right. Once everything showed up, the first step was laying out the base frame to make sure it all worked the way I expected. I built the base using 2x4 boards laid flat. These are called sleepers. Normally, if this base were supporting the full structure, you'd stand them up and probably use 2x6 boards, but in this case, the deck itself is doing all the structural work. The sleepers are really just there as a surface to attach everything to. So here I'm walking it, testing it out. The main concern wasn't the frame. It was those thinner cedar boards on top, making sure they could handle weight, movement, and a bit of abuse. I had my father-in-law Mike come out to help with this part. Credit to him, he's way more detail-oriented than I am, and made sure we didn't cut corners. Because those boards are on the thinner side, we played it safe and spaced the joist at 10 inches on center. So this next section is Mike and I assembling the base frame, then laying it into position.
Okay, so if we do this one without this board in the way, we should be okay, right? It'll be a little tight on that side. Maybe we should have put that board in first.
I think we can just square the whole edges up or whatever, and then just do one board at a time in there.
Okay, what I'm worried about is, I'll show you here in just a second.
Sure.
Can you get the, that signed up, can you get that driver in there to put the screw in?
Oh.
With that space.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Alright. Get the square.
Good.
Let me mark this
So after assembling the base frame with sleeper joist, 10 inches on center, we squared it up and laid it into its final position where the sauna would be constructed. If you look closely, you can see just how little room we have to work with on either side of the 6x6s, and especially on the right side between where the back wall of the sauna will go and the deck railing, which gets pretty sketchy later. Then we added a thick mesh over the base frame. I planned for about 1/16 inch gaps in the floor for airflow and drainage, and the mesh would help ensure this wasn't the front door for a bug and spider hotel. Next, we laid 3/4 inch by 4 inch cedar boards for the flooring, leaving that 1/16 inch gap between each. We used stainless steel screws everywhere exposed to heat and moisture so nothing rusts. Watched them all. So
People give you shit. Why'd you do that?
people will give me shit. That's true, but also people might watch it and learn something. Yeah. But if they have problems about the screws not being straight, that's the guy right there. All right. You want to give it the jump test? You gotta jump on it real quick. Hold on. Jump on it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just flexing underneath, but the boards are fine. Yeah. Yeah. Looks good. It's a 4.75 degree slope, isn't that right? That actually goes down that sidewall. Yeah. Cool. So after a little fun ragging one another while assembling the baseboards, we got to work quickly framing up the first 2 framed walls. The back wall is pretty simple, just a plain framed wall, 76 inches tall with studs, 16 inches on center. And then that first side wall was our template because the wall needed to be sloped to allow for rain and moisture drainage off the roof. Then, after squaring those walls up and making sure they were plumb, we framed the hardest wall, which was the front. It was the hardest because we had to frame both the door, which would be custom built by me, and the 32 by 34 half-inch thick custom glass window I ordered from a local glass manufacturer. Then we set the final side frame, which was a mirror of the other, sloping downward at a 4.75 degree angle. Framing the first 4 walls was the last help I had building this thing, and also is the end of the first video. In the next video, I'll frame and shingle the roof, put on the OSB sheathing, the Tyvek house wrap, and more. Thanks for tuning in to this backyard DIY sauna build. Don't be afraid to subscribe. I had a lot of fun with this project and would love any questions about it, so feel free to let me know if you have any in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.